Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In my previous video we drafted the pattern for this dress, so today we are going to sew the dress. Okay, so let's get into it. So I'm working with 3 yards of silk and I went ahead to cut out the patterns. This pattern right here is the front pattern for the top, and I added half an inch at the waistline and at the chest line as seam allowance. Then for the side seam I used 0.75 inch. And for the back pattern, each of these pieces are 4 in number. This is because I wanted to use the fabric as lining. And also I went ahead to iron interfacing on each of these pieces. Now I'll take it to the sewing machine and stitch each of these 2 back pieces together. I'll also stitch together the pattern pieces I'll use as the lining. So this one here is going to be the lining for the front, and it's also going to be where I will fix the bra cup that I bought. And here is the other side of it, and this side has 2 pieces for it. So just like I did for the front, I added half an inch by the side just to stitch them together, and there's also half an inch at the chest line and also at the waistline, and then on the side seam I also have 0.75 inch. Okay, so let's start with this one. This pattern has 2 bust darts, so I'll take it to the sewing machine and stitch the 2 darts. And here is the front view after stitching it together, and then this is the back view, which I'm going to cut off this excess allowance here. Here is for the strap, and I haven't really examined the length of the strap, but for the width I measured 2 inches. So I'm going to fold this and sew it at half an inch, so I'll be left with half an inch after sewing it together. I'll take it to the sewing machine to do just that. So I needed bias and I decided to make one for myself using my bias tape maker. So the width of this strap is 1.25, so I'll just go ahead and do it right now. I actually cut out more of it because I needed them to be very long. Here is the lining for the front, which I've gone ahead to stitch together, and this is what it looks like from the inside. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to attach boning to this to this part. So I want the boning to stop at 1 inch above the underbust because I don't really need it to go all the way to the chest line. Remember, I'm also going to add the bra cup to this to the bust part. Now I'll go ahead and stitch the boning on the seam allowance. And it is done. This is what it looks like. So next thing I'm going to do is to bring out the bra cups so that I can attach them here. So I went ahead to stitch the 2 cups together. Next I'll start pinning them to the fabric, starting from the middle all the way to the underbust, the side, and then to the top. Notice how I place the cups face down on the fabric. Now I'll just push the cup out and start pinning them in place. So after pinning them in place, what I'm going to do next is to sew in between the seams, just directly in between the seams. This is much better than hand sewing it. And here is what it looks like, and you can see the reason why I had to place the cups facing down the wrong side of the lining. Alright, the strap are all sewn and ironed. Now I'll start pinning them on the position where I want them to be. So I'm pinning it down, leaving a half an inch seam allowance at the armhole area. And then I'll go over to the other side and do the same thing there. I'll take the front piece and place it over the lining, right side facing each other, and then hold them in place using my clip. After that, I'll take it to the sewing machine and stitch them both together. So after that, this is what it's looking like. See the front, okay? And then here is the lining part of it, and it's looking beautiful already. Now let's move on to the back. So I have all the back pieces including the lining. So what I'm going to do is to attach boning. This boning I'll place it in such a way that there is half an inch space at the top and half an inch space at the waistline. Okay, so I'll just cut 2 of it and then fix it up at the seam allowance. So this is the position where I want the boning to be. I will take it to the sewing machine and sew on it. Alright, here is what it looks like, and I also went ahead to iron on the boning because I needed it to lay very flat. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one, which is to bring the lining piece. So I'm going to place the right one on top of the lining, then I'll sew all around it as half an inch seam allowance, leaving the space, the waistline open so that I can turn it over. I'll then go ahead and do the same thing for the other side as well. Okay, I'm done with the both of them, and here is what it looks like. So I left the zipper side and the waist side open because I will still weave there. So next thing I'll do is to join these two back pieces to the front so that the top will be complete. Okay, so here is my front piece, and I'll place one of the back pieces on top of it, right side facing each other. So I'm pinning it down. I'll go ahead and place the second one the other side and also pin it down. So after this, I'll take it to the sewing machine to join them together. I'm going to join them at 0.75 inch seam allowance, then I'll stop 1 inch above the waistline. Here is what it looks like after joining them together. So as you can see, here is still open. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and sew on top of it. And this is what the inside looks like. It's looking neat already. So first of all, I'm just going to pin everything, hold everything with my clip so that it will be easy to sew on. After this, I'll bring out the down part, the skirt part of this dress so that I can start working on it. Alright, here is the down part of it. So this is actually the front pattern. Just like I did for the top, I used 0.75 inch as seam allowance on the two sides and half an inch at the waistline. And for the overlapping too, I use 0.75 inch allowance. So here is the back pattern, and I added 1 inch allowance at the center back, the zipper area, then also 0.75 inch by the side. Now coming back to the front pattern, if you look very well, you see that all those pleated lines, I notched it on the fabric so that when I'm folding the pleat, it will be easier for me to do without making mistake. I'll take off the pattern now so that I can start folding the pleat. The fabric is actually rumpled and I'm still going to iron it. So I'm folding the pleat to face the waistline. That's how I want it to be. Okay, so this is what I have, and I've gone ahead to iron it because it was looking rumpled before. So I'll take out the other front piece and I'm going to place it under it. Yeah, okay, because this pleat is going to appear on the front. So I'll pin them both together, then I'll take it to the sewing machine and hold those two sides. So here we have the back piece, and as you can see, I've joined the two back pieces together. So moving up to the waist, you see that I gave the space for the zipper, the zipper allowance, and then for the two darts, I went ahead to sew the two darts. Now back to the front, I finished joining the two front pieces together by the side. And then for the pleat, I'm really not going to iron the pleat because there isn't really any need to iron it. Just going to lay too flat and it won't really look good. So placing the back pattern, the back pieces on top of it, I'm just going to clip the two of them together so that I will sew on the both sides at remember I gave 0.75 inch allowance, so that is what I'm going to do. But on second thought, I decided to use 1 inch as seam allowance instead of 0.75 because this fabric stretches a bit and I really need it to be tight on me. Here is the result, and I've gone ahead to start hemming the slits where the two front pieces overlap with each other using a bias that I made out of this fabric. This is something I should have done earlier, but I didn't do it because I added an extra 1 inch allowance to this 0.75 inch allowance I added here. This is because I wanted to make sure that the slit is not higher than I want it to be. So I also use the bias tape to fold this other front piece that appear behind the one on top. Now I'll just go ahead and finish them up. So at the waist, I also joined these two front pieces together. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to bring out the top and now join it to this down part. Alright, I'll quickly bring out the top and then I'll place the down part beside it so that I can start pinning the two of them together. Now I'll place the top part on top of the down part and start pinning two of them together, starting from the front. So I'm going to do that all over, all the way to the back on the both sides. So when you're working on yours, always ensure that the darts at the top part and the darts at the down part aligns with each other, just to avoid them looking weird and misplaced. Okay, so now I'll take it to the sewing machine and I'll stitch everything with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now here is what it looks like, and the next thing I'm going to do is turn it over so that I can fix the zipper where it should be. So remember that I use 1 inch as the zipper allowance. Meanwhile, I still need to overlock every part of this dress just to prevent all the seams from fraying. Anyway, I wanted to use an invisible zipper for this dress, but last minute I changed my mind. So here is the one I'm going to use. This zipper has an invisible head. We are almost done sewing this dress, so what I'm going to do next is to fix the strap to the back. Fixing the strap to the back, I'm going to leave out 1 inch at the strap, then before fixing it, I will do the same thing for the other side. So after I'm done fixing these two straps, the next thing I'm going to do is go down to the hem and fold the hem. Okay, so and that will be all for this dress. So here is the outcome. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.